Here we are, finally at Journey's Ends. We're at the Astrologian series of Anima relics. Starting off with the Atlas Awoken. Once again, the Atlas version, you can either keep it or get it from the Asgardian Inn or some of the hunt tokens. So here it is, the first stage. Not too bad. It looks pretty good. It looks very Astrologian indeed, as you would expect it to do so. Obviously, you bring it out. That's when the true magic begins. The card sheaths always look the same no matter what you do, so it doesn't really matter what they look like. But yeah, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? With all this stuff where, you know, just wishy-wishy and the cards go around it. I don't know what I can say about it apart from it's looking nice. I like the moon that's at the bottom that's dangling. Pretty good. And of course, at the top, you got a few things as well. It's going to be very star-based, obviously. So yeah, I mean... It's their first foray into doing these for this job as its relics, so you'd hope they're pretty good. You'd hope they're pretty good. And I will say that the final form is a treat to behold, and I quite like it myself. Speaking of, let's move on to the next form indeed. Alright, we got ourselves the next form, the Denab, I believe it is known as. As you can see right here, we got ourselves a nice, well, I assume it's supposed to be Eorzea. Well, the planet Heidelin, sorry. I forget what they rename it in Endwalker in all fairness, so it's like whatever. Which is circling along what we have right here. It'd be nice if there was also the other moons as well, like, you know, Dalamud and the main moon. But apart from that, let us bring out the relic itself, because that's when it really changes form and comes into light. But yeah, there we go. In fact, I even kind of feel that like that's almost like an Ashian thing right there, but it's not. But I like the fact that on one side it's got that and the other side it doesn't. I assume that's where the actual, you know, Anima itself is housed, but it's most likely either in this red gem here or the actual globe itself. It's a nice little effect though. It still keeps on the theme of the relic itself, and of course you've got a pointy end right here with all the blood inside, or the Anima itself as well. Either way, you could probably pick that from the sides and just start ramming it down, and just, you know, justice will be made. The actual card sheath itself has changed color, but as I said before, they don't really change too much where I'm going to like point out every time, but I probably will end up noticing more changes than I usually would do anyway. Like, for example, there's actually a bit of a red gem on the end of this too. It's nice. It's nice when they bother to do little effects like that, but obviously we have ourselves the hyperconductive version of this, which is now coming up. Alrighty, here we go, the hyperconductive Denab. I'm probably saying it wrong completely, but whatever. Unfortunately, the little gem down here is not glowing. Nothing changes there. That's all right. But here we go. And apologies if I am speaking a bit fast, but I can't help it. We have the Anima itself trying to break free once again of the weapon. And it's pretty good. Nothing really changes outside of the fact that you have a few more particle effects circling around it. And at least the sort of the whooshy-whooshy swirliness fits with the whole, you know, orbit that's going on at the moment down below. I like it. Just as I said before, it's just a shame that there is no like sort of moon going around this. I do like the fact that it's almost like a shooting star going around that. I didn't notice that. I didn't really notice it in the version before it, but I notice it now, and that's what matters. That's what matters. Anyway, moving on to the next form, and here we have the Spear of the Last Heir, which looking pretty good. Looking pretty good on the back at the moment, at least. Wait till you see this bad boy in motion. It's got quite a lot of effects on it indeed. You got yourself a nice globe in the middle. Obviously, you've got like a sort of crystal coming off here. Kind of reminds me of like the mother crystal. This hasn't really changed much apart from that is now not glowing anymore. It's got a nice sort of yin-yang type look to it too. And more gems in. It got what looks to be a scale on there too, which is very nice indeed. Anyway, whip this out, and as you're going around, you've got a scale on the one side, and you've got the crystal on the other. You got yourself some stuff hanging off from the top here. And it's quite frankly, it's a nice looking relic indeed. This reminds me a little bit of the Crystal Towers. It probably isn't meant to be, but it reminds me of it anyway. In fact, this entire overarching thing here reminds me a little bit of a bird. Like, this is its body, this is like its head, and then this is the beak. It must look like a toucan or something. You got the two feathers on the side. It's just a nice, impressive looking relic. If I made Astrologian, maybe I would use this, you know, because it's just a very nice and it stands out. Like, I love this giant blue globe in the middle. It reminds me of Blitzball from Final Fantasy X. I could imagine Tidus in there. There probably is a mini Tidus in there. Maybe they took the Blitzball spear from Final Fantasy X and just put it in there. Either way, it looks like a spear from that game, so yeah. It does have a few clipping issues, as you can see, with the bit where it's going around, which is a little bit jarring. I did not notice until now. But it's stuff I can overlook, so yeah, I hope you can too. Anyway, let's get to the sharpened version of this relic and just see how it really changes once the shine comes in. Alrighty, here we go. We have the sharpened version of the last air, and yeah, it's an etheric mess, I'm not going to deny. But I do like that a lot of the energy seems to be concentrated around the spear in the middle. Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm pleased that they keep that sort of theme going, and it's just nice. I didn't check the actual thing. It did not change, unfortunately, the card sheath. It is what it is. So yeah, it's a big relic, this one. So this so far is up to the sharpened version. And I hope you've liked the Astrologian look so far, because we're about to get into the final versions now, which is when it really all changes and the bits which people like or hate the most. Alright, here we go, the Canopus. Bit of a strange one. Once again, it's got the sort of seal or the triarch symbol in the middle. You've got some crosses actually around the edge. I don't think it's supposed to be religious metaphors, but it's still kind of nice. It does look a bit like a frisbee. I'm not going to deny that. It's got a frisbee with crosses on, with like a frisbee in the middle. You could almost also say it's like an orbital space station. It doesn't look super impressive right here, apart from the fact that it's got all the engravings. It looks quite nice. Just aesthetically looking, it looks quite nice. I couldn't think of a glam outside of maybe Omega, which would really fit this, just as you have it on your back. But obviously, you know by now that if you've been watching all of my Anima Relic series, is that this is not what it looks like when you actually are wielding it. Let's bring this out. As soon as you bring it out, the entire relic changes the way it looks. And oh my god, it does not disappoint, does it? It encases the entire relic in a ball of fiery aether like it is the sun itself. That is the best way I can describe it. At the middle, you have this spinning around with all the cards inside. And of course, in the middle is the, where the actual Anima Relic itself is housed, with the stuff spinning around it too. Looking pretty nice, isn't it? Looking pretty nice. But once again, just as well as I do, this is not the final form of this relic. And yeah, let's get to the Lux version of this weapon, yeah. The Canopus Lux Anima Relic. And finally, I can free my bag space. And the sheath itself doesn't really change, except that it's golden now. So, yeah, it's just mostly just been a color change to match with this. But, yeah, it's golden, it's black, it's got the red gem sockets as usual. The patterns are there, it's all the same. But, of course, it's gone from a fiery sun to a black hole, almost, like a supernova. And quite frankly, I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, I've always said that over a lot of them. I think this is one of the best looking Astrologian relics in the game. I say this as someone who hasn't done the Stormblood or the Shadowbringers one, and God knows what the Endwalker one looks like either, but in terms of thematic stuff for this wet relic and everything like that, it just fits far too well. You have what I can only describe as stars also now, like circulating this. You can see stars, whatever, like where they go, their paths, just sort of like the trail. These look amazing. Like the inner side, you can actually see the relic in there as well. It's just like just purple with all the glows. The black hole, or just space itself, is there in the background, being circled by little tiny lights, which I've always mentioned kind of remind me of stars. They could be planets as well. I don't know if there's any constellations in there either, but it is just the most fitting end to the Anima Relic series for an Astrologian, in my honest goddamn opinion, and this is worth doing. It is a little bit chonky when it comes to the actual relic itself, with all the crosses and stuff, but the glow up itself changes the entire look of the relic, and I couldn't be happier. So yeah, that is the entire Anima series done for Heavensward. We'll be doing the Stormblood ones, which I'm done with the rest of Eureka ones. Oh boy, is there some disappointments in there when you get to the final versions, but I'm still going to do them. I'm still going to do it because I'm dedicated. I only have 3 remaining. Well, technically 4. I'm currently on the Black Mage one, and it looks... My god, it looks terrible. I need to get the glowy version. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check us out on twitch.tv/Wobsy, where I will be also still farming my Shadowbringer relics as well. And soon I'll be farming the rest of my Shadowbringer relics, so they're below Zadnor and all that sort of stuff too. I don't just do relics on my channel, I do other stuff too, but it's one of the things I'm very passionate about doing, so yeah, check us out there. Apart from that, have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon for more videos on this channel. We're getting some more indies out, we'll be getting more 14 related content stuff out. I've just been procrastinating absolutely terribly, and I really shouldn't be. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Ta-ta for now. I've got some editing to do.